You're into weightlifting. You went to a Star Trek convention. You like to wear sweatpants. It's all, woo. These are all elective identities. They say something about us, but they're elective. But then you can delve a little bit deeper, and you could say, I'm a citizen of the United States. I grew up somewhere. We all grew up somewhere. We're all part of something. We all come from some place. And you can go even deeper and say, these are my parents. This is my family. The left in the 18th century had this line, an accident of birth, an accident of birth. No birth is an accident. You come. That was kind of unintentionally funny, I'll grant you that. What I mean by that, and you can go deeper, and you can say, we're just Americans, I don't see color. But color sees, that's a good line. Actually, I appreciate it. I think Trevor Noah said that to a young conservative. He says, she says, oh, I don't see color. She's a good young conservative. And he said, what in the hell do you do at a stoplight? It's a good question, actually. We all see color. And race isn't just color. Race, I mean, color is in a way, minor aspect of race. But you're part of something. Whether you like it or not, you're part of a bigger, extended family. You're part of this world. You're part of this history. And that race has a story to tell. As a European, I can tell a story about people. People I'll never know. Our lives stretch back to prehistory. We first started to become ourselves in the Greek and Roman world. Thank you. This is our halftime entertainment. Yeah. They're clowns. They're clowns. So there's a story, and it involves people you've never met. As a European, I can tell this story about the Greeks and the Romans, about the foundation of our civilization, about empire, about the coming of Christianity. No, you're wrong, sir. Oh, he's a professor. That means he must be correct. Europe. Calm down. Sure, Europe's a place. It's a place on the map. It's people and it's blood and it's spirit. That's much more important than some map. There are Europeans all over the world. If we went to space, we'd still be European. His rejoinder is to repeat himself. Go back to Europe? Oh, it's not a bad idea. I'm not sure we want to give up this beautiful continent. I'm sorry about that, though. It's yours? Not really. All right, we'll calm down. Calm down. So we can tell a story. We went through tumults, we went through reformations, we went through revolutions, and we are who we are, and I think we've learned something about ourselves. That's a story I can tell as a European. I think if I were an African American, I could tell a very different story. I could. Why did that anger you? Like what? I would say if I won't speak for you, but if I could. You're kind of getting mad at weird things that I say, to be honest. When I won't speak for you because I don't know you. But if I were to say what that story would be, it would be about what? Yeah, of course I do. It would be about being rooted in an African continent. And I agree, and enslaved and kidnapped. And it was a terrible thing. And going through trials that maybe I can't imagine, but then becoming a people. You're still a people. That's the story I would tell, but it's a different story. What? I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. So that's what it means to be part of a race. A race is genetically coherent. A race is something you can study. A race is about genes and DNA. But it's not just about genes and DNA. The most important thing about it is the people and the spirit. That's what a race is about. A lot of white people don't want to have a race. They want to think, oh, I'm just an individual. I'm just an American. You have a race whether you like it or not. Ugh. That's really original, man. I've never heard that one before. That's awesome. Yeah. She's dancing. Perhaps she'll lose some weight. Keep moving. Keep moving. You're part of a race whether you like it or not. When a Syrian refugee, so-called, whether they're from Syria or Africa or somewhere else in the Middle East, when they enter Europe, they don't look at anyone as, oh, looky there. This man, he's Bavarian. Oh, he's a Bavarian Catholic. Oh, look, this guy must be from Ireland. Interesting. He's Italian. No, they don't see that at all. They see us as white. They see us as white men. They see us as a race, and our enemy can define who we are, whether we want to define ourselves as such or not. We are white. So that is the foundation of identity. You can go up, you can look at elective identities. I'm into weightlifting, I'm into Star Trek. And you can keep going down. And you go down and down and down, and you get to the root of identity. You get to that base that you can't go any further. And that is race. In America, we have a very peculiar conception of race. This has been perhaps the most racialized continent. It was a place, it was an open country. It was an open country for Europeans who confronted people who were radically different than they were. And that confrontation, I'll be honest, was terrible, bloody, and violent. It was terrible, bloody, and violent. But we conquered this continent. Whether it's nice to say that or not, we won. And we got to define what America means. We got to define what this continent means. America, at the end of the day, belongs to white men. I love you too. Thank you for coming. While I was coming here on the airplane, I actually rewatched perhaps my favorite movie, and that is John Ford's The Searchers. Raise your hand if you've seen that film. Wow, very few. Okay. Go out and watch it. I can see the pounds just washing off her. There's a moment in that film that I love. It actually comes from a very minor character. It's one of the Sorgensons, which are I guess a Swedish family. This movie, The Searchers, takes place in Texas. It's a brutal movie. It's about Indians capturing this young white child. It's about Ethan, played by John Wayne, and his companion chasing after them for years, almost endlessly. There's a moment when this woman, Sorgenson, she says, her husband, Lars, says, oh, Texas killed, this country, this terrible country killed my boy. So their boy died, seeking on a revenge mission against these Indians. The Indians killed him. And Mrs. Sorgen said, no, the country didn't kill your boy. We're Texicans. And that means we're a human man way out on a limb. We're going to be out on that limb for years, for decades, maybe 100 years. But we won't be out on that limb forever. At some point, Texas is going to be a wonderful place to live. It's going to be a great place to live. But perhaps our bones have to be in the ground before that will happen. Texas is a wonderful place to live. And there are a lot of the white man's bones in the ground to make that happen. White people did it. And I'm not going to ever claim that there wasn't a lot of brutality that went along with it. But we did it. Our bones are in the ground. We own it. At the end of the day, America can't exist without us. We defined it. This country does belong to white people. Culturally, politically, socially, everything. We defined what America is. But things change. Woo! The architect is what matters. It's the genius behind something. It's not just whoever happened to do the labor. Other people could have done it. But no one could have imagined it. No one could have designed it. Because no one else did. History's proof. I've never been called that before. It's all right. So, but things change. What is America now? What is it? Is it great? Not yet. I think that's probably true. Make America great again. It was the slogan that captured the imagination, really, of the world. And it's absolutely, means I love you. Yes. It means I love you, yeah. Embedded in that slogan, make America great again, is its opposite. And that is an acknowledgement that America is not great. I think we know that. I think we know that in our bones and our guts, that things are getting worse. Previous generations couldn't imagine that their children would have a worse world than they enjoyed, even a worse world than their parents enjoyed. Now 75% of white people think the country is on the wrong track. Who could disagree with them exactly? Does anyone think it's getting better? It is now. Maybe. We'll see. All right. Let's cool down the autism a little bit. Just joking. Okay. So make America great again. Not at A&M, man. Okay. Make America great again. The opposite is embedded in that statement. That's what makes it in a way so powerful. We assume that America is not great, and it isn't. And why isn't it great? Because of me. Well, thank you. That was a cute refrain, yeah. Because of me. Because of me. America is not great because in my lifetime, America has lost an essence. It's lost a people. It's lost a meaning. If you listen to presidential inaugurations, either these times when presidents will go up and tell us, oh, what this is really about, and get everyone fired up. They won't talk about America as an historic nation, as a people with a story, as the product of a race, of a worldview. They basically talk about America as this platform for all of humanity. They talk about America as an economic system, effectively. Many have talked about the Roman Empire's decline. It went from being a people to being a population, then to being a mob. I think that says a lot about the fall of Rome. America went from being a frontier to being a people, then to being an economic platform for consumers from around the world. And let there be no doubt, Americanization, in this worst possible sense of the word. This is what Hillary Clinton was talking about when she said she wanted a hemispheric open market. This is what George Soros or Mark Zuckerberg want. They want an undifferentiated global population, raceless, genderless, identityless, meaningless population, consuming sugar, consuming drugs, while watching porn on VR goggles, while they max out their credit card. If you don't deny that that is the kind of passive nihilism that so many in the elite class actually want. They want a world without roots. They want a world without meaning. They want a flat, gray on gray world, one economic market for them to manipulate. That's what's happening in the world. It isn't just a great erasure of white people. It isn't just an invasion of Europe, an invasion of the United States by the Third World. It is ultimately the destruction of all peoples and all cultures around the globe. I'm not paranoid, they're just out to get me. That's what America has become. We might not all be able to put it into those words, but we know that that is what America is becoming. It's becoming an homogeneous consuming mass. and no one wants it. Whether you're black or white or Hispanic or Asian or whatever, no one wants that. And that's what America's become. I agree with liberals who might say, oh, Donald Trump, he's vulgar, he's ridiculous. Listen to what he's saying, this is crazy. Look, I agree. But just the fact that Donald Trump said that word great, make America great again, meant that he had higher hopes than the Clintons and the Zuckerbergs and the Bill Gates and the George Soroses combined. That he had a sense of height, of upward movement, of greatness, of that thing that makes the white race truly unique and truly wonderful, that striving towards infinity, that however vulgar he might be, that he had a sense of it. And that's what inspired the alt-right. That's what made Donald Trump an alt-right hero. So this is where we are. We're in a battle between that other America, that America we don't want to talk about, that America that has our bones in the earth, that America that white Americans died for, that white America's defined. And we have this other America that's just coming into view, this America that is a nihilistic economic platform for the world, that's taking over the world and destroying everything in its path. That's where we are. We're at a tipping point. What we need right now are people who are willing to speak truth to power. I find there's this amazing thing about the left, and I have a certain respect for the left, believe it or not. That's cute. Get out. Yes, he's showing an image of suicide on a placard that he kind of, yes, that's what he's about. What a wonderful man. You know, I do have respect for, I understand the left in a way. People I do understand them. People I don't really have respect for, to be honest, are the kind of gutter punks that spend their life protesting other people, that their life is so empty, so meaningless, that they have to fill up that void with hatred of people who actually care about their identity. And I'm referring to people like you. At the end of the day, do you see me protesting some Marxist gathering somewhere? I don't care. Go knock yourself out. Go talk about Das Kapital or the Grundrisse. I'm exciting violence? Inciting or exciting? Inciting violence? Yeah. So I doubt that. Okay, I'm fine, President. Speak. What I find fascinating is that the left always believes all right, quiet down. Oh, great. Oh, good. Okay. Well, at least you could maybe just get the images on camera. Wow. Let's sit down. Let's sit down, everyone. What? I don't know. I can. Hey, everyone. Let's sit down and talk with each other. Let's sit down and talk. How did I start it? Give me a break. Thank you. Thank you. Let's sit down and talk. Good. Let's sit down, let's talk. I'm about to finish up. I'll give everyone a chance for Q&A. All right. Let's sit down. Let's sit down. Everyone, okay, good. It's all right. Everything's cool. So, what I find truly amazing about these types of people, I'm not referring to you. Don't get excited every time I use a generalization. We have to communicate in some way. What I find so amazing about the people who are protesting me out there, who are attempting to create the largest safe space in the world, 100,000 people at Kyle Field, what I find so amazing about them is that they think they're the underdog. Let me let you in on a secret. Richard Spencer is not the establishment. Richard Spencer is not running the government. Richard Spencer is effectively a heretic in the modern age. In terms of, think about those places of power. The US military, public education, academia, major corporations, whether they're financial on the East Coast, Silicon Valley, what have you. What do they all agree on? Diversity is good. We're all the same. We're one world. Come on, man. We all bleed red. You might think that that kind of limp liberalism is some underdog perspective, that you're speaking truth to power by saying that nonsense. You are not speaking truth to power. The military-industrial complex agrees with you. So does every major corporation. So does the U.S. government. You are not speaking truth to power. You are power speaking. These institutions do not want you to have a sense of yourselves. They do not want you to have identity and rootedness. They do not want you to have duties to your people. They do not want you to think of yourself as part of an extended family that is bigger than any single individual. Because the moment you have those duties, the moment you have that identity, is the moment that you are no longer the perfect, passive consumer citizen that they want to create. Have an identity. I don't need to tell black people in this room to have an identity because you all got it. You know who you are. Hell yes. Dude, all right. You're really lame. I mean, honestly, this world needs a better class of heckler. I mean, just look at yourself. Go away. You know who I am. Have an identity. I don't need to tell that to African Americans. I probably don't need to tell that to Native Americans or Indians or Asians or anything. But I will tell that to white people. Have a goddamn identity. Have a sense of yourself. Be a part of this family. You are not an individual. You are not just an American. You are not just a citizen. You are part of this family, and be a part of it. Find that within yourself. Find that shadow self. Not the day-to-day self. Find that shadow self, that European, that hero within you, and be that person. Having an identity is the greatest challenge to the power structure that there is. Speaking truth to it means speaking the truth about race, about people, about nation, about who we are. You are not a rebel when you mouth this tired, boring, annoying left-wing pablum of the so-called anti-fascist, or of all these sinecured academics, people with 6 or 7-figure salaries who think they're Marxist revolutionaries. You are not speaking truth to power when you mouth their tired bullshit. Have an identity. Be something bigger than yourself. Become who you are. Become a member of the people and speak truth to power, my brothers and sisters. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, let's do Q&A. This is where the fun begins, eh? I'm ready. Are you ready? For what?
I don't speak for you. I speak for everybody who stayed in their seat. I ran in and tried to break it up. A&M is an inclusive people. We talk about trying to be together. Are we trying to be together? I don't agree. I don't agree with anything you say. I'm here to just sit and passively observe. I came to respect his right of free speech. We all need to do that. We all need to do that. We don't need to get up and start fighting in the middle of it. All right? He has every right to be here, just like we have every right to say what we do, but we do not need to fight. That is the root of our problem in this country, is the inability to listen to people with opposing ideas. So I sat right here in the front row with my mouth shut the whole time. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. All right, Q&A. You know, we could do this writing on cards thing, but I think it's maybe more fun if you just come up here and talk to me. So actually, can you come here? Why don't you hold up this mic? If you'd like to ask me a question, please form an orderly line right here.
We're going to cause a big commotion right here.
Okay, here, hold on. Okay, guys, let's do this. Stop coming up. I'm really glad you guys want to talk, but just keep a line basically at this length, and don't come up to the line until 2 or 3 people have gone, just so we don't have a big pile up in this center, all right? But you can talk to me directly, and I will use the podium mic.
Okay, so 2 questions. First, can I get you to sign this real quick?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Secondly, how as a European American, what's best for me to move forward with the alt-right movement?
What's the best for what?
So, as a European American, what would you suggest a course of action to move forward with the alt-right movement?
Okay, good question. I could write a book on that last question. I will definitely sign your Donald Trump. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. It's our man, right? In terms of what we should be doing, we'll sign it right here. Thank you. In terms of what we should be doing, our immediate goal and something that we can actually accomplish is raising consciousness. I don't know how history is going to unfold. I don't know what opportunities are going to be there. I don't know what Donald Trump is going to do. But we need to raise identitarian consciousness amongst our people. That is something you can do by sending out a tweet. That's something you can do by attending this rally. It's something you can do by writing a book. But that is an achievable goal that we can accomplish. And I would also say, as excited as I was on election night, and believe me, I was euphoric, we need to be willing to criticize Donald Trump. I'm worried about Donald Trump becoming just another Republican and not fulfilling the promise of his campaign. So that is something that definitely the alt-right can do, because only we can criticize him in the right way.
Hi. So you're banned from Europe, the continent you love so much, for spreading Nazi propaganda. How did
No.
you? Oh no, you are. For the next 3 years, you're banned. How do you marry this with your love of Europe?
Okay. I guess I should ask, how do you pair that question with your utter lack of logic? It's a fact. Therefore, I can't love, it's a fact. I can't love Europe because some governments in Europe ban me from entering. It just doesn't make sense. Europe. Theresa May, who banned me from the United Kingdom, is not Europe. It's the Schengen zone. You've read my article. Good. You've looked me up. Yes, I'm banned from the Schengen zone, but I will be free to enter Europe once again in 2017. So, Richard Spencer World Tour. Look, you're saying, how does this gel with my love of Europe? You're just based on faulty assumptions. I don't love the current governments of Europe. I think the current governments of Europe are shit. So of course they should ban me. I would be worried if they didn't ban me, to be honest. Wow, that's what an edgy guy.
What are your views on Milo Yiannopoulos and safe space thinking?
I don't safe space thinking in the sense of, trigger warnings and a place. Yeah, obviously, I think that's totally stupid. Look, I almost want to thank President Young for hosting this rally across the street, which I hear was just a terrible failure. But I almost want to thank him because the fact that they want to fill a football stadium for the world's largest safe space shows how much power the alt-right and our ideas have. The more energy they direct towards us, the more powerful we become. We'll become more powerful than they could ever imagine. So thank you, Dr. Young. However, I would say this. The fact that Dr. Young was ostensibly attempting, or is he a doctor? Is he a PhD of some kind? Mr. Young? Yeah. Dr. Young. The fact that Dr. Young was attempting to stifle speech with this failed rally across the street does not speak well for academia, even in a ostensibly conservative university like Texas A&M. The fact is, he is doing that to try to drown me out, to try to prevent students from listening to me and prevent students from engaging with me. If there is not an antithesis to the ideal of an academical village, then that, I don't know what is. But look, all I can say to Dr. Young is, it didn't work. We're all here. I'm engaging with students. My voice is getting out there. I'm communicating to millions of people through the media, through everyone here that's tweeting about it. So we won, you lost. Hi.
So I came here, and I'm in opposition of what you think, but I sat through everything that you said. What kind of support have you got from politicians with the alt-right movement, and what kind of politicians have reached out to you to learn more about it?
Good question. I was talking to Donald Trump this morning, and I asked, no, that's not happening. Very few, almost no politician has reached out to me. I certainly have lots of contacts in Washington. From what I hear from other people is that at every conservative cocktail party, the conversation will eventually go to the alt-right. It's kind of that. There's some law, what is it, Godwin's law on the internet? Godwin's law on the internet, that every internet conversation eventually becomes about Hitler or something. Yeah, every conversation at cocktail parties amongst conservatives will eventually go to the alt-right. We've made contact. They definitely know who we are. No one cares about conservatives. I mean, no one wants to listen to these boring people say all their nonsense anymore. People are excited about the alt-right. The media wants to learn about the alt-right. So, you know, we are going to displace the old guard. And I always knew this would happen, but I never knew when that breakthrough would occur. And if someone told me that that breakthrough would occur through a Donald Trump presidential campaign, if someone told me that 2 years ago, I'd be like, you know, what are you smoking? But it happened. So it's only a matter of time. I would say that Donald Trump is pretty sui generis. I don't see another politician actually in the United States who really resembles him. There are a couple people who make some noises like him, but no one is Donald Trump. But at some point, the paradigm is going to change. At some point, conservatives aren't going to be like Ted Cruz or Jeb Bush or any of those guys. They're going to be people who resemble the alt-right. They're going to be people who are identity politicians. And that's only a matter of time. Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Excellent. First, I'd like to start out by extending a welcome to you because I am not a huge fan of anything that you've said. However, I firmly believe in the freedom of speech, and I firmly believe that challenge is actually done in this room and not across the street. So I will give you that one. 2 questions. The first one is you spoke about trigger warnings and safe spaces and whatnot. My question kind of is, what triggered you?
What do you mean?
I mean, you feel that the white nationalism is your calling. So what moment was it where you woke up and you realized, wait a second, I need to do something about this? What was your trigger?
I was like this in the womb.
Awesome. And my second question with slightly more data behind it. So I've got a William and Wolf thing here, the president of the National Academy of Engineering speaking before the 109th U.S. Congress on September 15th, 2005. And in there, he basically says that, you know, in 2009, foreign students were 27% of the science and engineering master's degrees and 33% of the doctoral degrees. And 55% of the PhD students in engineering in the United States were foreign born as of 2004. Now, we've got a public education system that's being cut left and right in all sorts of states, Republican and Democrat, and we've got migrant farmers who are basically the only ones willing to do all the work. You can ask the farmers in Georgia for sweet potatoes as well as tomatoes. So my question to you is that immigration ban or moratorium that you were posing that would last for 50 years, would you actually have America stupid and starving while we try and, you know, satisfy your ego?
I want white people picking sweet potatoes. We can goddamn do it ourselves. We can make our own beds. We can mow our own goddamn lawns. All right, let's talk to each other. Let's talk to each other. The idea, automation is another thing that's important, but the idea that without mass immigration, that the founding people of this nation, the people who created America, would be stupid and starving is not just insulting, it's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. But I would say this, even if I agree with your faulty assumptions that America would be stupid without the great benefit of the third world. Even if I agreed with that faulty assumption, I would still prevent immigration because this is our goddamn country.
Oh, excuse me, Richard Spencer? So I'd just like to start off by saying I agree with absolutely nothing you've said throughout this entire
That's
presentation, except for the fact that Texas is a great state. But It is not because we have selected a specific minority group, a specific group within our country, but because of all the people who make this country, all the diversity we have in this country. And with that, I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
So you talk about creating this Make America Great Again, returning back to our great roots, like I guess that our previous ancestors have had before us. But you barely touched on it, and you tried to avoid the situation that minorities and ethnic groups were literally stomped on in order to make this. We have oppressed minorities within our country for hundreds of years, and that is how we got that greatness. And so you're saying we revert back to those ways in which we achieve this greatness by infringing upon the rights of the minorities and the ethnic groups within our country.
No, it's not good to be a minority. I totally agree with you. That's why I don't want my children to be minorities. You enjoy being a minority.
I don't see anything wrong with my heritage. I am proud of my heritage.
You're just saying that minorities are stomped upon. I actually won't really deny that. Minorities were absolutely mistreated. Absolutely. That's why it's not good to be a minority. I don't want to be one. But it's great. Okay, you guys gotta get your message straight. Is it good or bad to be a minority? I would say it's generally speaking bad. It's not good to be oppressed either. Look at the history of multiracial nations. It's a history of conflict, it's a history of distrust, and it's ultimately a history of blood and tears. I'm glad you guys agree with my message. Speak truth to power, my brothers. Absolutely. There's so many fans here at A&M. It's awesome. I love it. I love you.
Well, I got told by Mike and Sven and all the other guys at TRS that I had to come give a shout out to you.
Great, thank you.
They missed you.
TRS forever, absolutely.
But one quick question for you and your opinion on something. Only white people have ever been on the moon. That means it's ours, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
As I said, for those who think Europe is a plot of land, we would be European when we're in space. We will be European. Europe is not a plot of land. I mean, it is a plot of land, but it's not just a plot of land. It's blood and spirit. Yeah.
Hi,
Hey.
my name is Bethany. I'm a senior political science major. I just had a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
Well, you talked a lot about race and identity, and I know you probably know what appropriation is, like that kind of stuff.
Like cultural appropriation? Yeah.
Okay, so I know you said that white people are unique and they're great and they're basically amazing. But I wanted to know, like,
I
if
agree.
you think
You're right. Okay,
No,
thanks
I'm
for your
not-
question.
well, I'm not saying.
No, just kidding.
Oh,
Just
that's
kidding.
awkward.
Just
Okay.
kidding.
Well, okay. So, if they are, why do you think that white people need to be told to find an identity? And also, like, do you know? Not like this is nothing on your intelligence. I'm just asking, but like, what is your definition of identity and race? Because I've been confused. Because like, as my professor told you repeatedly that European is not a race. I'm not sure if you know like what race and identity is and why you feel the need, like why white people feel or why you think white people need to be told to find an identity, because as far as I'm concerned, they have one. They've just been trying to thrust it down other people's throats. So
I actually agree with a lot of things that you said there. I think whites are, in a way, victims of our own success. We have this strange desire to transcend ourselves and to think that what is ultimately derived from our being is universal and it's for everyone. And so we want to create these universal nations in many ways like the United States, in many ways like France, these revolutionary universal nations, proposition nations. We want to transcend ourselves. I think that's a big problem with white people, actually. Whatever problems Africans have or whatever problems Asians have, they don't have that problem. They never lose that sense of themselves while they try to achieve some kind of universalization. And I agree that white people have been trying to shove down the throats of the rest of the world, the kind of, in a way, worst aspect of ourselves. We've been trying to shove down the throats of the world, white people as consumers, white people as money people, white people as identityless cogs. And I want to stop that, to be honest. I want you to have identity. I really do. Thank you.
Okay, well, my name is Kirby Teague. I'm a bioenvironmental science major, biology minor. So, this is not to be confrontational. I just really wasn't understanding where you're coming from, but I did write it down, so I got you. So, my question was, how can you say that no one else would achieve what whites did when you committed genocide against the population that currently owned the place, and then stole basically the racial population that we call African Americans today, which also, facilitated the growth of this country, if y'all didn't know. And then also, I also wanted to know how you say that whites are, I guess, adept in areas that they haven't fully come to terms with mentally. Like, there's certain things that they can, quote unquote, achieve, and that, apparently they're just the best and can do everything, but no other racial group did it. That was your statement, correct?
I didn't say that, no.
No
Well,
other racial group.
let me pick up on some ideas you're putting forth there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in the words of Jack Donovan, every other race engaged in mass murder and slavery and colonization. White people were just really, really damn good at it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Look, I'm not going to claim that history isn't a slaughter bench, because it is. And I'm not going to claim that my ancestors haven't engaged in all sorts of brutality, because I won't. We are capable of greatness. We are capable of going to the moon, ultimately capable of going to the stars. We're also capable of terrible things.
Are you aware of like the African American and minority groups that contributed and facilitated that growth that you call your own? Did you do research on it or no?
Do what? There's a new film called Hidden Figures or something, where black women brought us to the moon.
You should probably look at that too.
The what?
Give him a second.
All right. These are some black inventor myths, I'm afraid. I would Google black inventor myths.
The last part of my question
was... Okay, real quick.
Well, you're currently about to be replaced by those of Asian and Latino descent, and you had a head start, so I'm just trying to figure out how can you say you were the best when you never allowed yourself to be open to fair competition, to prove your worth?
We had a head start. I think that's kind of begging the question. How did we have a head start? Yes, white people had a head start because, yes, white people had a head start in the United States. Of course we did, because we're dominant. We're not being replaced by them. No, we're not literally being replaced by them. We're not literally being... I agree, they are. They're changing the demographics. We're not literally being replaced by them. All right, I don't want to get into an argument about semantics, but no. I hear you. We're not literally being replaced. What was your question again, really quick? One sentence. Right. It's just kind of a non sequitur, to be honest. I'm sorry. It's like, yes, this is not a wonderful state for the white race at the moment. I would never say that. We hate ourselves. We're weighed down by our own guilt. I want to overcome that. Absolutely. But it just, yeah. I don't know what to say. It just there's no logic. Okay, good. Well, I'm good, then I don't have to answer more. Okay.
Thanks for coming out here, Richard.
Sure, my pleasure.
It's definitely the current year.
I love you guys too, absolutely. Thank you.
Uhuru, shout out to the Proud Boys out there.
Proud
My
Boys.
question is, do you see the alternative right becoming more of a cultural right? If you look back at neoconservatives, conservatism in general, there's no real culture there at all. And I want to appreciate you for, I guess, helping facilitate, something new for us that, I've been looking for this for a long time. And
Awesome. I think what you're saying is very important. When you think about the left in, say, the late 60s and 70s and 80s, they actually lost a lot of elections, a lot of presidential elections, but they won the culture. They won the music, they won Hollywood, they won novels, they won all of these hugely important cultural spheres. And that was actually much more important than winning the White House. So absolutely, if the alt-right is going to have an impact, it's going to be a cultural impact first and foremost. I don't think there's ever going to be a president who's going to say, oh, I'm the alt-right president. But if we can influence how people think, if we can influence culture makers, that would be tremendously powerful. Absolutely.
also, it's my birthday. Would it be possible to have a drink afterwards?
Yes. Absolutely, I'm buying.
So you began by talking about identity, and you mentioned all the identities that we choose and contrasted them with the identities that we didn't choose that you said are deeper, the ones about where we grew up and our family and our race
Right.
and all those things. What makes those things deeper? Because it seems to me that, that I, as someone who has chosen to study logic and make that my career, have this deep connection to the history of logicians of many different cultures, and I feel that the story of Aristotle to Russell to Frege to many different people is much more part of my identity than the person who just happened to give birth to the person who happened to give birth to the person who happened to give birth to me. I don't know who that person was. I do know who these other people were. These people, the ones who contribute to the cultural story that I have chosen to take part of, those are the people that seem to me to give my deepest identity in a way that the ones who just happen to contribute some genetic matter don't seem particularly relevant.
I'm not really contrasting elective identities to given identities. And I'm in a way saying that your elective identities are to a large extent the product of your given identities. You can't get away from your parents. You can choose to study poetry, you could choose to study music, you could choose to study logic, but you can't get away from the people who gave birth to you. You can't get away from your racial identity. And so I'm not really contrasting, I'm just saying that these are all kind of parts of what makes you a whole.
Howdy. So, a few things. First of all, I apologize for anyone who came up here and caused that ruckus. That was very unprofessional of us, and I'd like to apologize for that.
Thank you. No need to apologize. It's fine.
Secondly, you are right in stating that Texas A&M is one of the most conservative universities in this nation, and for that reason, we will not stand by your rhetoric. I was highly disappointed in what I heard. And thirdly, you talk about
the left agrees with you. Does that tell you something about conservatism, perhaps?
Well, honestly, I'm not too worried about political leanings
useless
right now. I'm glad with anybody who stands against this rhetoric. But anyway, on to my question.
How brave.
Thirdly, you talk about identity politics a lot, and I agree that identity politics have taken over the U.S. as of late, with groups such as, most notably, Black Lives Matter, racial divisions becoming very tense in this nation. However, wanting to set up some kind of white power group in opposition to that, would you not believe that that would just make race relations worse and ultimately would not lead to peace, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I am not the cause of racial divisions in the United States. To say that is to dramatically overestimate my power and to misunderstand it. The cause of this racial division, which you've alluded to, which I, of course, acknowledge, is this current paradigm that we're living in. And that current paradigm is mass immigration, multiculturalism, anti-white discrimination and anti-white guilt, this complex that haunts everyone. Maybe it haunts you. That is the cause of racial division in the United States, not me. I am offering a way out. I am offering a solution that is grounded in an understanding of human nature. I'm not offering a kumbaya solution of the conservative movement, which is that we want to get everyone believing in a constitution, and then we're going to not have any more racial divisions. That is not going to work. That has been tried, and it has utterly failed. The alt-right is about a new beginning. Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
So my question is very similar to that gentleman's question. With the left, identity politics has failed. We saw that in this last election. Libertarianism, free speech, free individual freedoms have come out on top, at least in 2016.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm not
no?
sure I agree with you, but keep going.
Yes, no? Okay.
Just keep going. I'll
Okay.
let me hear what your argument
All
is.
right. So my question for you is, why do you think that it should be more about race and not about the culture?
Okay, I see what your argument is. I disagree with your assumptions. I do not believe that free speech or individual rights won in 2016. Why I support Donald Trump and why I think Donald Trump is a fascinating phenomenon, why I'm still excited about everything that he accomplished, is because he was the first step towards white identity politics in the United States. He was definitely not the last step, he was not the final word, but he was that first glimpse, because he never defined his campaign in the way that you did. In his Republican acceptance speech in Cleveland, Ohio, I was there, he never mentioned words like freedom or so on. He said that the system is rigged, the system's rigged against you. I understand the system, and I will be your champion, I will be your voice, I will stick up for you. When he's saying, I'm sticking up for you, he is talking to his voters, 90% of whom are white. That Donald Trump represented the first step towards identity politics. That's why he's interesting. Ted Cruz didn't win. You know, if Ted Cruz had won, maybe I would be like, all right, sure, individual constitutionalism won or something. Ted Cruz failed. Donald Trump won. Identity politics is what won.
Yeah, okay. So you believe that when he says he wants to stand up for the American people, he is not talking about individualism or Constitution-granted rights?
No.
You believe that it's more about white people?
Yes.
Fair enough.
As a young black man in this country that was born here, how do you intend to make me leave?
I'm not making you leave.
So what's your plan with us?
What's your...
What are you going to do with all these people who are here? What do you intend to do with us with this white country that you want to have? So what do you intend to do?
You were a citizen. You're here.
So what is this entire conversation about then?
This entire conversation is about identitarian consciousness for white people.
And what will that incite?
Incite? What do you? It's going to incite
You're not gonna give me an answer.
politics and a new key. It's going to incite a different.
A few
I know
questions,
they're hissing at
a
us.
few
It's really
questions
bad.
for you.
It's going to incite a
questions for you.
different kind of politics than what we've had in the past. We've
A
already
few questions
seen that.
for you. So in this America where white
Can I
people
see your
are-
shirt?
Oh yeah, you like it?
Dream like Martin. Yeah. Lead like Harriet. Harriet Tubman. I guess. Fight like Malcolm.
Yes.
Think like Garvey. I think like Garvey. Yeah. Do you know?
In this world, in this America where white people
Yes.
accept their excuse me.
Madison
white
Grant
people
and Garvey
accept
were
their-
actually colleagues.
When
Anyway,
people
sorry.
in this America where white people accept their white identity, their white culture, their whiteness, do you feel that people of color should still have their rights?
Yes.
So how can you say that you as white people did this when there were black former slaves who fought for their freedom? There are black people who still fight for white people, black people, brown people, all people's freedom in this country today. And in our American history, there are white people who tried to, take away from other white people, saying only land-owning white individuals could have the right to vote. How can you say that this is something that you as white people have done, that white people built this country when when there are black people who have fought for it, still fight for it, and there are in our past, white Americans have taken
white people are an
away from other white people.
indispensable central people who defined this country
Defined this
culturally,
country on the basis
socially,
of-
and politically.
of
Yes, there was
wealth.
absolutely there was
other white
brutality
people, So
involved.
other white people couldn't have that, so they defined it upon
Look,
wealth.
this kind
So
of
they
thing
took
of like,
away
oh, look,
rights from
someone
white
at one point said that the Irish aren't white, or at one point there was ethnic conflict. Therefore, we could never have anything like white identity. Again, look, you can find something in history, but what we have to think about is where are we now? Where have we evolved? Where are we going? We're not going towards anti-Irish bigotry. It's ridiculous. We're going towards racialization, a sense of a bigger family. That's where we're evolving. That's where history is moving us.
And how can you say, again, that white people of this country, when there are certain things like affirmative action, which help a lot of white people that came through a lot
give me
of
a
fights,
break. I
in the
mean,
civil
come on.
rights era,
Affirmative
highlighted.
action is not helping white people.
They help
I mean,
veterans,
give me a
they help
break.
white women, they help handicapped
Look,
people.
if you say
Are there-
that, then effectively, like, everything helps white people.
Are there not white handicapped people? Are there not white veterans? Are there not white women? Because affirmative action helps those people as well.
Look,
I mean, if there aren't white veterans. Thank you.
Howdy.
Hi.
So I'm a senator at A&M, so this question is on behalf of my constituents.
You're a what at A&M?
I'm a senator.
A senator. What is that?
Yes, sir. So I'm an off-campus senator.
What is a senator?
So my on behalf of my constituents, the question is.
So you're like you're a representative of students?
Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yes, sir.
I don't know what it is. Okay.
No, sir. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I represent 40,000 off-campus students. For
Wow.
A&M University. Yes, sir. So on behalf of one of my constituents, a senior in the Corps, he wanted to know, what are your feelings about you speaking in the MSC, which is a memorial to those who have died for freedom?
A memorial for those who have died for freedom?
Yes, sir.
I don't get it. They died for freedom of speech. They died for you to be here to hear new viewpoints. I don't understand the question. They died for moments like this. Oh, look.
They were very racial America at the time. They had segregation, Jim Crow laws. They didn't fight for equality, I guarantee you that.
Yeah. A lot of these, I have to say that's how that would be my first answer to the question, is that they died for freedom so that you and other people could come listen to speakers like me, to be honest. But I would say this, I am not one of these conservatives that just loves all these wars that America's been involved with. The Civil War, what a great thing that was. No, that was not a great thing. That was a terrible thing. The world wars were terrible things, in my opinion. I wish we could have avoided all of those things. I think we almost destroyed our whole civilization over the course of about 100 years, all these damn wars between Europeans. Never again.
Thank you.
Good evening. So I listened to you say that you don't like strong academics and people that speak from, right, you said something of that extent.
I don't like academics?
Like, for example, people with degrees and that just get up here and speak to you from an academic standpoint and things of that nature.
I didn't quite say that.
Right, okay.
All right, ask your question, I'll answer.
Right, so I'm gonna just try to speak to you in plain language.
Okay.
Right. So I just want to thank everyone that was able to sit through this. And so on behalf of us, I just want to let you know, I had to hear what you had to say. So you are an asshole. Fuck everyone that agrees with you, that stand for what you say. Like, and that's just in plain, uneducated language. Like, but no. So now my actual question after I've said my fuck yous on behalf of everyone. Thank you.
Fuck you too.
Right. I get it, right? That's the outright, right? So my actual question for you is, I actually talked to some of your supporters. There were a couple
love you
people
too,
out here
guys.
that I spoke with, and
Absolutely.
we had a really good conversation.
Speak truth to power.
Right. My question is,
Okay.
I spoke to this gentleman here, and he basically told me that he's not a racist, and he was like, I don't want people to think that I am. I just have X, Y, and Z views. I get a different thing from you. I actually hear you say that that the white race is superior, that this is our land, and X, Y, and Z. So, are you racist? Like, can you just go ahead and say yes? Because it's two different things.
I would say this. Race is real.
Right.
Race matters. And hold on.
Right.
Hold on.
I just get tired of
I am
people
answering her
supporting the
question. You're
movement,
going to
but
have to have
they
a
wanna say
little
that
bit of
they're not
patience.
racist. So
I'm
can you
answering your
right,
question.
go ahead.
Race is real. Race matters. Race is the foundation of identity. The word racist is a fake word. No one identifies with the word racist.
Do you feel that
It's
white people
basically
are
a word,
superior?
it's a way of trying to shut
Do you
down
feel that
speech.
white people are superior? Do you think that you are better than I am?
There's no ultimate object.
Are you better than me?
There is no.
Do you think that he's better than me? Is
can-
she better
I'm-
than me? Like,
I'll
who's
answer.
better
Your,
than me?
I'll answer your question.
Are we equal?
I'll answer your question. There is no ultimate objective standard whereby I would say that this race is cosmically better
no,
than the
I
other
don't
one.
want the
What I would
like,
say,
PC, just go ahead and
the
tell me
white
answer.
race is mine. It is the most important thing for me.
Right.
It is unique.
Right. So with that, I let you know that Black lives matter, that Muslim lives matter, all lives matter, LBGT lives matter. And with that, I just want to know, what is your stance against that?
I would probably say that no lives matter. And what I mean by that, I don't buy into this human rights dogma that everyone's a little snowflake or unicorn or so on. You matter when you are trying to achieve something that is greater than yourself. You matter when you leave a legacy. No lives matter in the sense of like, oh, everyone's a unique individual with
And I'm
human
trying to
rights.
have a plain conversation with you.
I think
like,
that's
I wanna
liberal
talk in regular
bullshit,
English,
and I
right.
don't believe, and I never have.
Right. So before I pass the mic, so are you saying that whites are superior? Like, I just want to get this on media coverage for the world that's watching.
I already answered your question.
You haven't.
There is.
You beat around
I
the bush.
did.
Right. Like,
There
so,
is
so
no
how I said,
objective
fuck you, like in
standard.
plain language, I want you to give me an answer.
I'm going to
to
be as
that.
plain as I can.
Right, please do.
There is no objective standard for why any race is better than the other. Europe is me. Europe is unique. Europe is my people. That's why they matter.
That's not answering my question.
That is my answer. I'm
Right.
sorry.
So it's not answering my question. And I'll love to pass the mic soon as you answer my question.
We're gonna be.
Fuck him, like again for the 10th time.
We're
Like no.
All right.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
He didn't answer it.
I did answer it. I'm gonna keep saying the same thing because
Say it
that's my
again.
answer.
I'm sorry. So are you better than me?
All right, let's go. Let's go. No. Okay. It's not
your
no
own
fighting. No. All right. Yeah. We're good. Let's talk to each other. Let's not fight. All right. No one denied her right to speech. All right, quiet down. Absolutely no one denied her right to speech. No one denied her right to speech. She was denying other people their right to speech. She was not giving back the microphone. It is. You're speaking right now. It's this guy's turn. Go. Let's do it.
Hey, my name is Dan Canary, longtime listener, first-time heckler. But in all serious note, I don't hate you. I don't hate you either, President.
All right, let's listen to the man asking the question.
I love y'all. I don't agree with you. I'm here. I wanted to come here because I've been watching your videos, and it seems like you believe in separate. The races becoming eventually separate into separate nations as like a good end goal that will bring more peace. This is like my first question. Is that kind of what you think?
Roughly speaking,
Roughly,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems like, wouldn't it be better and more realistic? I know you don't think it's realistic, but if we instead work towards us all getting along, and I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Yes, race is real. Yes, there is racial conflict. Preston, I've listened to your interviews where you say in a diverse society there's going to be conflict, and there is conflict in our diverse society. There's racial conflict. There's class conflict. And you say it's inevitable, and yeah, maybe it's inevitable that there's some conflict, but why throw in the towel? Like, fuck it, let's just go make separate nations, stop trying to get along, everybody. Like, I have a 2-year-old, and I'm not going to say you're a two-year-old, I'm just saying we're trying to teach her, share, just let's share this country. Let's share this land. Immigrants.
I get where you're coming
Muslims.
from. I get where you're coming
It's
from.
not
I would say,
impossible,
I get where you're coming from. I would say this. If you build a house on a faulty foundation, it doesn't matter how much refurbishing you do. It doesn't matter how much fixing up you do. It doesn't matter how many gardens you build or how many beautiful facades. The house is going to collapse. If we're going to have a peaceful world, and believe me, I want a more peaceful world than what we have today, we're going to have to build societies based on the foundation of human nature. America as a global platform for all humanity, America that's this legal document, the Constitution. Ooh, the
It's a hopeless and
Constitution.
pessimistic outlook.
I am absolutely not pessimistic. I think that once Europeans stop farting around with all this equality and democracy nonsense, I think we will go to the stars. I think we will rival the ancients in terms of our greatness. But for that to happen, we are going to have to get over this silliness that is believed in by liberals, this silliness that is believed in maybe even harder by so-called conservatives, this silliness that America is effectively a legal document, that America is based on rights. We need to get away from that nonsense.
Rise while everyone else goes down. That's not nonsense. We can all rise together. And so I want to invite you.
You
and I wanna
can't just
invite you,
say
Preston,
it and it's not going to happen.
Well, yes. It's going to be hard. It's difficult. We have to humble ourselves. It's not easy to create peace where there's conflict and where there's historical conflict, right? But why not live for that instead of, this alt-right, fuck it, we're never going to get along, People of different races get along all the time.
All right, the kindergarten.
How many people have ever got along with someone of another race before, right? It's not impossible, and it's something we should fight for and work towards, not say it's just never going to happen.
I think we might have just a conflict of, I thank you for your question. I think this might just be a conflict of ideals. My ideals is not the great cosmic kindergarten class in the sky where we're all sharing. That is not my ideal. All right. BTHOH, hate, what does that mean?
That stands for beat the hell out of hate.
Oh, that's very nice. You look so boring and bourgeois, yet you're going to beat the hell out of me? Really?
No,
What are you waiting for?
That's
You're wearing this T-shirt, sir. Well, I'm right here. Why don't you come beat me up?
I was intending to ask a civil question, sir.
Why are you wearing a violent T-shirt that says you're going to beat
Go to
the
A&M.
hell out of?
Spend a little time at A&M and you'll figure out what this means.
Oh, effectively, it means nothing because I knew you when I saw you first coming in. I've seen millions of people like you. You are a white coward. You wear some little T-shirt, beat the hell out of hate. Yeah, you're not even willing to do that. That T-shirt is total bullshit. You're not even willing to go to the gym. Look how fat you are. You can't beat the hell out of anything, sir. Seriously.
I hope
I have to say, I have people say I am based on hate.
I hope this is
want to
getting
be
on
honest.
tape.
I have utter
This
contempt.
is free speech.
I have
Everybody.
utter contempt for losers like you, sir. You wear a violent T-shirt. You're not even willing to actually do anything. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
May I ask my question, please? In the reality-free world in which you inhabit,
Oh yeah, that's
and I'm glad I don't inhabit it, and I'm glad most of the people in this room don't inhabit it as well. And I think we're all pretty happy about that. But do you advocate using DNA testing to establish white identity? What makes a white? And have you undergone DNA testing yourself to establish that you are of pure white European ancestry?
Apparently, sir, most all of science and the Google Corporation disagree with you. 23andMe can easily tell you your race.
Have you been
and it
tested,
can actually
sir?
break it down. Yes, I have.
Have you been tested, sir?
Yes, I have.
Do you advocate testing people in order to establish their race?
People can test themselves if they want, to be honest, but I don't think that's necessary because, quite frankly,
So can
you,
people self-identify
it's
then?
very easy to determine someone's race. You can look at them.
Can people self-identify?
No, people cannot just self-identify. This is the Rachel Dolezal question, where someone can just claim that they're a black person, even though they have zero African DNA. I think that's wrong.
So then you're advocating doing DNA testing. How do you establish white identity?
No one did a DNA test.
Answer
It's
my question,
easy.
please.
Race is a coherent concept. It's very, sir, like, don't tell me that, like, you studied this stuff. Race is a coherent
Well, I have studied
concept.
this stuff, sir.
Do
I
you
have a
believe,
PhD
do you
in
believe
genetics.
golden retrievers are a social
Sir, I have a
conflict?
PhD in genetics. I have studied this stuff.
Oh.
And we could go into a scientific conversation about this at some other time.
Have you ever looked to the word of Cavalli Sforza?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, you've debunked him, of course. Yeah. You have a BTHO hate T-shirt. Yeah, you must be a great intellectual.
Well, you, sir, I mean, at this point, you're not worth my time.
Why are you here? Yes, Dork of the Year award goes to that guy. Yeah, not really, actually.
I'm checking on the clown.
What?
I'm checking on the clown. She creeps me. There are many people who want to control race, culture, and morality. Zuckerberg's self-proclaimed final solution to these issues is he alone is the one to control it by healing the entire world of all sickness and disease. His brown shirts are Lugenpresser, Facebook, censorship. Dorsey's self-proclaimed final solution to these issues is that he alone is the one to control it by using social media. His brown shirts are Lugenpresser, Twitter, censorship. Obama's self-proclaimed final solution to these issues that he and he alone has the control to force people to cease being their hereditary race and be called multiracial like him. His brown shirts are Lugenpresser, Islam, censorship of the internet. Hillary Clinton's self-proclaimed final solution to a perfect society is that she alone is the one to control race, morality, religion, culture, through the control and the use of eugenics. Her brown shirts are the Lugenpresser, censorship, crime, and corruption. And Margaret Sanger and Cecile Richards' Planned Parenthood. These are all documented. My question to you, Mr. Spencer, is a question of control. Do you envision yourself as the only man who can control society properly through the use of the alt-right movement? Thank you, sir.
An interesting question. I presume you're coming from a libertarian perspective? Or I won't presume anything. Just an old man, okay. A very interesting question. I'll have to think about that. No, I don't think I or any one person can control society. However, I will say that I am not a libertarian, I'm also not a Democrat. I believe in elites. I believe that culture and society, to a very large degree, not totally, but to a very large degree, are come top down. I believe that elites set a tone for a country. I believe that elites are totally overrepresented in terms of their impact on culture, high and low, on society and institutions and so on. I am not a radical egalitarian in the sense that I want to tear down all establishments or all elites are bad. I want to build a new elite. And this new elite will influence and impact culture, societies, and institutions. No one person is going to have total control. But I would be lying to you if I said that there wouldn't be people who had tremendous power and influence in culture and society. That is the world we live in. We don't live in a world of total decentralization, individuals, and so on. We live in a world in which elites have power. We are not going to exit that world anytime soon. Apparently, being an individualist consumer is a way of having identity, whereas understanding your